Hi, welcome to One for the Road, where we navigate sobriety, recovery, and life in general. Tune in as we share our experience and opinions while answering any questions you may have. My name's Marissa. This is my co-host, Judy. Are you awake yet, buddy? All right, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, notify. Just all that stuff. Sorry, we're off. We're 10-minute warning that we're going to record.
Yeah.
I'm in my car because there's construction going on in my house.
Yeah. And this is not even my first cup. I haven't even finished a whole cup of coffee. So I think I forgot.
That's okay.
That's okay. Like it's a whole thing. I can't.
So it's okay. It is what it is. So today I wanted to talk about what sobriety has taught you, us, whatever, you know? Which I feel like is a loaded question.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Give it to me.
And then when I come on, moving along, it's like, okay, I'm 5 minutes. Put on all your makeup, get out of bed, do this thing, yep. and now start it up. Well,
yep. Take it away. I barely did my hair. I'm in my car.
Did I mention the no coffee? Right. Okay. I learned something. I just realized what I learned. I learned how, and it's based on what I read this morning. You know, I think that it was whatever I read, it was something super relatable to my life, right? Like always looking for happy, right? Whether it was drugs and alcohol, relationships, shopping, eating, whatever, right? What I learned is that it starts here. It starts in here. It's not out there, right? And that I also learned in recovery that just because I stopped drinking and using drugs, that life wasn't going to be perfect. I learned that too. That troubles and problems will still come around, but it's how I react or not act, right? And how I manage life's ups and downs today, right? Without alcohol and without drugs, that was my solution. That's what I did. I went to those things, or people, or shopping, or food, or whatever you pick, So what I learned was how to navigate myself, because I learned that I can't control those outside variables, right? The people, the places, and the things, but I can, and do 80% of the time, maybe, and that's being generous, control myself, right? And how I react, because it's not just when problems happen, it's also when things are going good. I can get off on the good feeling and the happy thing and want more. And then I very slowly ease off, right? And then, ease out of the recovery portion. And then I start chasing that thing again. So I learned how to be happy with myself, and I also learned that sometimes when the hard stuff comes, that there's lessons to be learned, you know what I mean? And, everything can be a blessing. It's all about my perspective, I think, to sum it up. I'll have more after you say something, because then I'll just jump on whatever train you're pulling.
Oh, I know. Well, and I'm thinking I'm jumping on your train, but I agree. Like sobriety taught me that everything is an inside job. Everything is an inside job, whether it's something I agree with, disagree with, something, whatever. It is just an inside job. It's what I got going on within me.
Right.
I learned that feelings aren't facts. That was a big thing for me.
I wanted to say that.
You didn't, so that's fine. I learned that my feelings aren't facts because, I operated a lot on my feelings. It feels like this, and I, just because you think it doesn't make it so. I think it, and it's funny, we are like going through like a house buying process, and we're like just doing just whatever. And we had all these ideas of what we thought, it was like supposed to look like and stuff like that. And we were like, oh, pay this off, do that. And then we get to the loan and they're like, no, that's not it. Right. Like, And so just because I think something sounds like a good idea or something totally makes sense in my head doesn't mean that I know, right? Like I learned in recovery that I don't know everything, and that it's okay not to know everything.
Yeah, that was a blow to my ego. I really did.
Sure.
And there are times today when I still think I know everything, and then I get the big brick to the back of the head, like,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I have to.
I'm in the car and I see like all the stuff around me, so it's too many distractions.
There's construction happening. You should maybe you're in the car because there's things happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned in recovery that I could pretty much do anything that I set my sober mind to. I realized that like sober without the extra stuff, I'm more intuitive, right? Like I kind of just know how to handle situations today. Or I at least know how not to handle situations today, and that's been a big thing. And you made that comment too. Like I know how to act or how not to act, I learned that every thought that comes through my head does not need to be spoken out.
Right.
And there's a million things that I have learned in recovery, like those are some of the most like prominent, those are the things that like keep me like sober, but then there's things that like very surface things, right? Like I'm teachable today, and I have a little bit of humility today that I can that someone can walk me through something, which is not an asset that I had prior to getting sober, because again, I thought you expected me to know everything. So to come to you and say like I want to learn how to do this thing, it's telling you that I don't know how to do it.
Right.
And which has been one of my greatest assets, like I learned to ride a motorcycle in recovery. I learned to do hair in recovery. I've learned to do a lot of like surfacey things, just whatever. And learn how to manage my money in recovery. You know what I mean? Like I learned how to get things that I wanted, saving money and, doing things like that. I've learned those kinds of things. There's like all these internal lessons, but there's also all these external things that have like enriched my life also that I would have never been able to do had I not had this basis of recovery. And, whenever I'm like learning to do something, my sister always says like, well, if you can stay sober for this amount of time, like you can do this for this amount of time. Like, and I always love that gauge. And I know I've mentioned that before, but it's always like a measurement, there. So I don't know. Those are some of my lessons, if you will.
Well, and it's true, right? Like, I think that it's all sort of, I think we all sort of learn the same thing, right? Depending on what we're doing, right? We learn to grow up a little bit, it's a funny thing to me that, I've just turned 53, right? And I'm finally adult, maybe like I'm like in my 20s mentally, right? And emotionally. Yeah. And it's funny to me that like, I look back and some people probably wouldn't think it's funny, but I look and and I relate to that, not everybody needs to know every thought that I have, right? Because, and I will tell you, all of my thoughts aren't so stellar today. I have judgments and opinions about a lot of shit. I mean, tune into this thing and every now and again, you're going to hear some shit. Right. So, I think that that's what it is though. And what I love is you say this quite often, they're not the right audience, right? Mm-hmm. Having some sort of discernment on who I can say what to and who I'm going to tell my things to, right? Like not everybody needs to know every single thought that runs through my head. I learned to temper that a little, because I would tell everybody anything, like, I mean, I had absolutely no qualms about telling anybody everything. And I'm sure that I wrecked a lot of people at that, but I don't know. I think that there's just a lot. And, the surface stuff for me, I think that it was hard to learn those things because I was actively drinking and actively using drugs, you know what I mean? And parenting and all of the things, but I think I'm just a better person overall today, most days. Like, I mean, probably not even really yet. Like, talk to me in an hour,
Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned your coffee, right? Like I Sobriety also taught me things like I'm not a morning person, right?
Oh.
Not a morning person. I remember like, drinking and using, and early in recovery, you're like waking up and just kind of like hating the world all the time, and that, and then just riding on that emotion all damn day and just being miserable and making everyone else around me miserable, and then you start talking to people and you're like, oh my God, I'm such a crap. And everyone's like, yeah, that's why people are like quiet in the morning and they drink their coffee and they watch the news and they like do things because they have to like get their mind right. Like you got to like, some people are just like that. I am just like that person, right? Like,
guilty. Yeah.
And I'm the same way. Like, I just, like I don't want to talk to you right away. Like, it's no offense, but like, give me a minute, but I couldn't learn those things, especially drinking when you wake up and you're in a hangover state. Then you just feel like crap.
Yeah, right. Then I just want to punch you in your face for sure.
Well, yeah. And then, so I never could like get around those things. I also didn't have anybody, in recovery. I've had a lot of people that I could like talk to and tell them like, why am I always so pissed off in the morning? Like I just fucking woke up, like what can you possibly be pissed off at? Well, it's just because people have a hard time waking up. Like you're not unique.
Right.
Like sometimes right, you have a hard time waking up. Like, right. And that's okay. Doesn't mean you get to yell at the significant other, the dogs, whatever. It means you go get your coffee, you get back into bed, and you just wake up. And then you do all this stuff, right? Give yourself enough time to wake up. Don't rush out of the house. Like learning those little things really did set me up for success. Right? Learning how to wake up in the morning. So challenging, learning how to eat, right? Learning that my body needs certain things. And I know I talk about that a lot.
Right? Hangry, dude. Yeah. You have friends that carry snacks.
Yes.
Because they know you too.
Yeah. I have friends that are like, yeah, listen, you're pretty consistent. The only thing I need to do is shove some food in your mouth. You're fine. Like if you're getting sassy, we all know that you're hungry. It's fine. Like, and and then right, like I've learned to have the right people around me, right. The right people that are like, oh, she's not a bitch, she needs a snack, like we'll get her a snack, like people that call me on my stuff, like, are you hungry? And I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm hungry, but I must be, man, you're right, give me some food. Like, I've learned to surround myself with those people and to have those conversations and to learn more about me, right? I need to have so much sleep a night. I need to make sure that I eat regularly. I need some time in the morning when I wake up. I need some time to transition when I get home from work. Sometimes I sit in my car for 10 minutes because I just need to decompress before I take on the next task of the day, which is the significant other, the household stuff, the dogs. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff. Right. Until I got into recovery, and my life runs a lot smoother when I can say what I need. That is what sobriety has taught me, what I need today, and not in the selfish act, but in this self-care, in this
you matter.
Right, putting my mask on, my air mask on before I help you, right? Like doing what I need to do to meet my basic needs. And then I can give you my best self. For sure. Right? I need a snack so I can give you my best self, right? Like I need to wake up for 20 minutes so that I can give you my best self. And it really eliminates a lot of conflict in my life. And by that, then it eliminates a lot of resentments, which means it eliminates a lot of thoughts of, oh my fucking God, I just want to drink. Like it all.
It's that ripple effect for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and that's what it's going to look like, right? Like I've already said, so fine, you rush around, you sit down, do this thing, whatever. I know this about me. I'm starting over. The minute that we hit end record, I'm going back in and starting over. I'm going to get a new cup of coffee and I'm going to do that quiet time, right? Get my head right. Because I have to go out and deal with people today. A lot of times I don't deal with people. However, I'm going to deal with people today. So I'm going to have to do my.
Yeah. I've also learned not to be selfish, but this morning I thought, I don't know when we're getting a podcast in this week because it's chaotic. And so I'm like,
hey, listen,
I'm 2 hours ahead of you, but hey.
And this is the other thing though, I've learned those things where, I mean, how many times yesterday? I'm open whenever, right? I just had this open invitation.
Go with the flow.
No big deal. So here's the thing though. I learned how to stick to my commitments. I said whenever, I meant whenever. So my happy ass got up and tried to put mascara on one eye, have some coffee, and sit
my hair.
What's right. But but I follow through today, right? If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I used to think that I was a loyal person and good to my word. And I was loyal to an extent, right? Until like it might affect me. It's not the case today. I said I would, so I did, right?
Yeah.
I also learned to not say things I don't mean. If I didn't mean any time, we wouldn't be sitting here.
I know. Well, and I'm the same way, which is why, you find spot, right? We're finding a spot at whatever time in the morning. And because I also am someone who's keeping you updated, right? Like that is something, that accountability to my commitments today, right? Like this is something that is important to me. And so I make time for it. And if I have to reschedule, we're not just, we'll reschedule and then not talking about a time that we're rescheduling. Like we're actually doing it, and I did learn that stuff in recovery. I'm accountable to my job. Like I don't just reschedule clients and stuff like that because I want to do this, right? Like I stick to the commitments and, I don't get to just slack off anytime I want, because that's my integrity. Like that's who I am as a person, right? Like,
right.
And that's, that stuff is very important to me today. Not so much in the past, but it is today.
Yeah. I was infamous for making plans and saying I would be there. And then, if drinking plans came up or something, I would definitely blow stuff off. And I would always use the excuse of, they're never going to miss me. I did a lot of damage by that. They're not going to miss me. I had people calling and saying, so-and-so's hurt. And, I did those things. And so I've learned a lot of lessons, right? Like I don't say I'm going to do something if I can't, or if I don't want to. Right. And when I do say I'm going to do it, I do. So there's a lot of benefits. I'm sure. I wish I had we
could literally, as with every episode, I feel like we could talk all day.
Right. And we'll probably get off of this and talk for another 20 minutes.
For sure. No. But sobriety has taught me a lot. Sobriety has taught me everything I know, right? And being in the recovery community and doing the therapies and all the different things that I've done in an effort to get to the bottom of whatever makes me want to do all the drinking and stuff like that. I've learned a lot about me. I've learned a lot about other people. I've learned a lot about the world, and how it operates, not all good, not all bad. And that's a nice place to be, and I'm super grateful for that.
So
keep coming back.
You know what? I forgot. There's one more thing. It's about the tea. I forgot because I'm not with it.
That's okay.
I need help. Okay.
Give me the tea. Sunflower
herbal blend. And I also found out that the sunflower is actually the Ukrainian flower. Actually, it's whatever. Anyway, random information. So we have a friend, Jason. He's selling hand blended herbal tea, sunflower tea blends. All proceeds going to the benefit of the Ukraine. $10 a bag. All the information in order to get a hold of him or us will be in the description for this video. Thank you for your support.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, notify, do all that stuff. Leave us any comments of anything you'd like to see. We've done some interviews, so if you have any questions for them, let us know.
We're going to have more interviews coming up as our plan too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right.
Keep coming back.
That's all for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification button so you know when new posts are coming up. Keep coming back.